My name is Penelope Chatterton. Welcome to Awaken the Dream. My friends, Jacqueline Trought is back to help us today understand blood, the currency of the spirit world.
Yes.
And we want to start there on this program. In case somebody should have missed last week, please tell us how your book is doing, where to find it, where you're doing your book signings.
Book signings, wherever they'll let me.
Who could stop you?
I have one at the Mashpee Commons bookstore.
Oh, wait, is that right, in the Common?
Yes,
Yeah.
It's actually in the Commons.
There was
Market
Cape Cod
Street.
bookstore once away from, do you ever know that one?
No.
Yeah, okay, I wondered if that one moved into town.
No.
Okay, when is that?
It's on April 12th
Okay.
at 11 o'clock
Okay,
and 11 to 1.
and you will be there.
And I hope so.
You better be. You're going to be signing away.
Also, in Boston, I have a signing at the Frugal Bookstore,
All right.
and I'm having a lot of support from the churches there in Boston as well, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, and
Yes.
that is on what date?
On the 12th as well.
Oh,
The 12th, once in the
you're
morning.
getting on the
one-
bike and going right into Boston.
I hope I have something faster than a bike.
Good for you.
Okay,
Good
okay.
for you.
The book is doing well, Penelope. Lots of good stories that I'm hearing from the book. And there are some negative stories too. And there are people that don't believe that blood is the currency of the spirit world.
Oh,
One
okay.
lady said to me, it doesn't sound like a breakfast book.
Oh, dear.
So she didn't want to have anything to do with it because
Oh.
it was not too appetizing for breakfast.
I
So
hear, yes.
there are people that don't want to identify with the title, but really what I'm saying is that we've often used and misused blood, and I have identified ways in which we can better our lives if we begin to respect this commodity, which is not just physical, but it's
Okay.
also spiritual.
Spiritual.
And if we notice, it's also scientific.
Okay.
And throughout time and the age, it's historical too, because blood has always been with us. People have done things with blood all these
That is
years.
so true.
Yes. So it has been with us for a long time.
Yeah.
It's an important commodity of the body. And if we learn to respect it, then it will work for us.
Yeah.
Also, what Christ did for us on the cross is amazing. So the book is actually, the foundation is about what Christ did on the cross for us.
Right. Now, they can find it at your website.
It can be found at www.spiritualcurrency.net.
Okay. And they can order it on your website.
They can order it from the website, but it's available in almost any bookstore.
All right.
Yes.
And they could even order it in case they...
And they can order it from Amazons and the Googles and the every place.
Oh, that's
they
great. Good
do.
girl. Oh, you're doing wonderfully. And today we're going to navigate the spirit world.
We're going to navigate.
We're taking
the
a trip
spirit world.
together.
We're taking a trip.
All right.
Now-
I've got my seatbelt on.
Okay, so now it's hard to navigate some place that you've never been.
Okay. All right.
So I'm going to take the journey based on where I have been. Now, will you help me? Will you come along for the ride?
I am on the right side. You're in the driver's seat.
I'm in the driver's
Okay.
seat.
I'm in the suicide seat.
Oh, dear Lord.
I will get in the back seat.
No,
No, I'm
it's
right
going
there.
to be an interesting
I am
thing.
your buddy on this trip.
Okay.
All right.
Now, the first thing I want to establish is that on a daily basis, we delve into the spirit world. We encounter the spirit world. We're part of the spirit world on a daily basis. Every human being and perhaps animals, I don't know.
I think so. I'm sure of it.
I think so, somewhere,
Yeah.
somehow. Every human being has some involvement in the spirit world on a daily basis. Let's go to them.
All right.
First one I want to talk about, it's probably not so common, well, not for you and I anyway, but that's death. Death is the ultimate question when we think of the spirit world because it takes us beyond.
Yes.
It's not here. We know something's happened.
Yeah.
We know we mourn uncontrollably when there's death.
Yeah.
And there's no real confirmation of what actually happens after we die. And so, man, there's something about it that first we don't decide when we die.
That's true.
So therefore, we're not in control. The second is we don't know what's going to happen after we die, but we've come up with lots of theories.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the theories later, but I want to say that every day someone dies. That means someone around us enters the beyond
That is true.
every day.
That is true.
Okay, let's pause. Let's not get into that yet. We don't want to start mourning.
Yes, teacher.
Another identifier are our thoughts. Do you realize that just by sitting here and thinking, you've entered into a world beyond what I can tap into, beyond what I can see or hear or know or feel or handle? So if it's not with the senses, it's spiritual.
It's spiritual. Yes.
So my thoughts are spiritual, and there are no scientific or medical explanations of how thoughts are generated. We know the cranium somehow has to do something with it, or
Yeah.
but beyond knowing that it's created, how do you get words to formulate in the brain, come through the mouth? How do you get activities that all are generated in the thoughts? It must be spiritual.
I think so.
Yes. Okay, think of great ideas, $1 million ideas that have propelled the world. Where did they come from?
Yeah.
Because they're not lodged somewhere in the brain where you can pick them out. Okay, Penelope, let me pick your brain today.
Yeah.
So they come from somewhere, someplace that is beyond. So we enter the spirit world
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
We
Okay,
do.
How about healing?
How about it?
Well, especially miraculous healing, you know, things happen. I know I had developed cancer.
Yeah.
And it got to my brain. I don't like to tell the story of balding,
Oh,
going
yeah.
bald, patches of bald hair all over my head.
Yeah.
Because the cancer had come to the circumference of the cerebrum, so it was going all around my head, and I was getting bald. And when I was healed, it was not through surgery or chemotherapy. It was a supernatural divine intervention
Yeah.
from God.
You expected it because you knew.
Penelope, can
You
I
had
tell
knowledge?
Can I tell you at one point I was just being stubborn and foolish about? Yes.
Not you.
I was just being plain stubborn and foolish. I remembered when the nurse called me and she says, "You have cancer, you need to come in and we need to look at it." My only interest at that point was finding the doctor who diagnosed it so I could go look at my cells.
You're every doctor's dream, aren't you?
I wanted to see what they look like. And honestly,
Did you?
Yes, and I did. She did allow me to look at them.
What did it look like?
They look, cancerous cells look like they're popping open, they're distorted. They don't have a round, even shape anymore like a cell ought to look. They kind of wiggly or squashed out, and
Yeah.
the nucleus is all over the place.
Huh.
Almost like you're popping an egg, and instead of the egg being nice
Yeah.
and round,
Yeah.
it's leaking into everywhere.
Yeah.
So that was my greatest interest. And it continued to develop without me doing anything about it, which was foolish.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where I decided that I know I was at the point of death. And the reason I knew that was because one day my husband asked me a question, and I knew he had asked the question, but I didn't know, I couldn't put the words together to make a sentence.
Oh,
And at that
that's
point,
interesting.
I knew I was dying.
Yeah.
And I turned around and I reached into the spirit and I said, "God, will you help me?"
Yeah.
And he said to me, "Let it go." And I knew exactly what he was talking about.
Yeah.
I was ridden with anger.
Yeah.
I was ridden with guilt. I was
Yeah.
ridden with shame.
Yeah.
I was very angry, traumatically angry,
Yeah.
very sad. And God said to me, "Let it go."
Let it go. And did you feel a flush go through you?
No.
No?
Nope. I just knew God was serious, and I wanted the healing so badly that I began to make decisions to let go my anger.
Ah, that's interesting.
And when the healing came, Penelope, honestly, when the lumps went, when when everything started to go, it was a stage, it was a process,
Yeah.
but it happened.
Yeah.
Before I died.
Yeah, yes. Well, you're still here. Oh, that's such a beautiful story because, yes, you did have to rid yourself of anger.
Yes.
And this was a symptom of something's wrong.
Yes.
You got to do some work.
Yes.
And you were stubborn, but you took your time, and sooner than later, you worked your way into the surrender.
That brings us to the other topic that is spiritual, emotions are spiritual.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, hope, where is it? Can you touch it? Can you feel it? Hope, love,
Yeah.
joy, peace, anger, depression.
Yeah.
It's somewhere inside of us. All we do is a manifestation of these things. But where are they? Can I go pick up a jar of anger, please?
Yeah. Very well.
Now, the
Good analogy here.
The doctor says it's in the brain. The psychotherapist says it's in the subconscious.
Oh, dear. And what
It's
else?
in the mind. You and I say, I love you with all my heart. You pull all of these together and we begin to realize that our emotions are spiritual. So emotions are also tied with our health as well.
Oh, amen.
I like that. Am I converting you?
Yeah, no, I love my emotions. The world changes when I'm in with my heart. My
Yes.
heart. My world changes.
Yes, your world changes with your heart.
Yes.
And we all change the world with our hearts, but these things are not on a shelf somewhere. It's not in the closet somewhere. They're spiritual.
You have to the courage to go there and to feel.
You've got to have courage.
You do. You have to
gotta-
want it, demand it, and do it.
Well, let's flip the script. How about the person, Penelope, that is in a rage, in a morbid rage, and all that they can think of is death? I want revenge. I want death. And they sit for days and they plan this. Where do they go to get it? Where does it come from? The thoughts that flood their hearts, the things that come that eventually propel them to evil, where does that come from?
Yeah. Yeah. What's tucked away?
Well, where is it tucked away?
Yeah.
It's got to be spiritual.
Yeah. Oh.
So again, we enter the spirit realm every day.
Yeah.
Okay, another thing about the spirit realm, another factor that we do every day, sleeping,
True.
waking. Okay, tell me where you went last night in your dreams. I'm curious.
You want to know where I went? It depends on the night that I dream.
Last night.
I don't know last night whether I dreamt or not. I just know I feel good when I go to bed and I feel wonderful when I wake up.
But you enter a world where you have lost control, haven't you?
You bet.
And where do you go?
And when
where do you enter?
The spiritual world, and I get messages, and I get symbols of my feelings that I can understand. If I wake up, I can understand maybe a story that I thought of that has meaning for me.
Yes. So we enter the spiritual world every day. Scientifically, they talk about the circadian rhythms. Physically, we think we're just tired. But
Yeah.
ultimately, we enter an inescapable pattern, which is sleep, that takes us into a realm that is so active, where
Yeah.
we dream,
It's
where we
fascinating.
move around.
Yeah.
The body is still laying flat on a bed or
Yeah.
on a stone, a rock, wherever you're sleeping. Or,
Yeah.
but the spirit man is alive and moving around. So for those of us who are skeptical, I know my book talks about blood, the currency of the spirit world, and a lot of people have been really skeptical about what it means and, you know, what does that have to do? But every single day we're granted the gift of entering the spirit world. So in our dreams, our bodies lie motionless, but we've entered the spirit world.
Yeah. I like this. This is good. Keep it up.
It's not as gory as you thought.
Well, but my friends need to know that there's that activity going on. And
Yes.
there are gifts.
Every day.
Yep.
We live for entering that world.
Yes, we do.
We do. If we don't enter that spirit world, we're probably dead.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Our greatest indulgence, however, in the spirit world is with religion. And do you notice, Penelope, every person has embraced some kind of religion?
I think so.
Why? It's your turn to answer.
All right, let me think. Something that has meaning for them that they can identify with. Maybe the group energy, the creeds, whatever it is. But not everybody does, but a lot of folks do find a path that's maybe mom did it.
Yes.
Or maybe
Yes.
it's been passed down
Yes.
and you were raised into
Usually,
it, and,
yes.
and there you are
Yes.
with your pansies at Easter, and that's what you do.
Okay.
That, I mean, heredity.
So my answer for this, for religion and the spirit world, is that we're searching for more.
Yeah.
Life does not hold all the answers. And we know that if there is a God out there somewhere, we want to find him.
Yeah.
And so we all seek after religion. And it
That's
doesn't
true.
matter where we're from or what rock we crawled out from under, or, you know,
What language you speak.
What language we speak, what's the barriers, whether we're educated, uneducated, handicapped,
blind.
It doesn't matter. We all seek after God. And there's something that's unquenchable inside
There's
of us.
a hunger.
A hunger. We need to be empowered, because we know something, that this life and all that it holds does not satisfy the soul.
Amen.
It does not satisfy the spirit. There's got to be more. And so everybody indulges in religion. Now that we've talked about so many things that we do that are spiritual, if we pull all of these together, one thing that is a common thread between them is there's very little human control in the spirit world.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Once we enter the spirit world, we're not in control anymore.
Yeah.
There's very little that we do. It seems sleep takes us beyond, and we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And even though some people will tell you, I know how to control my dreams, they can't control their sleeping.
No. Yeah.
Okay, so control then comes from the spirit world. Now, man is a complex life form, and he's made out of spirit, soul, and body. So then we can come to that conclusion where spirit, soul, and body. The spirit world controls the spirit of man, and at death, it reclaims that man.
True.
So therefore, we know at one point or the other, whether we've ignored it or not, we're going to enter that spiritual world through the gate of death. Okay, now, religion and the gate of death. Here is what we know about religion. Religion is either we escape good, we indulge in evil. And most people will find a religion that says, oh, I'm going to be good, I'm going to do good,
Yeah.
good life here on earth, good life in the hereafter.
Yeah.
Evil life on earth, evil life in the hereafter. Good life on earth, it means I have a good religion. Evil life on earth, it means I probably didn't find that good religion. So good and evil are also spiritual. So when I choose to do good, it means I've tapped into the wealth of the goodness of the spirit world. When I've done evil, I've tapped into something not so pleasant.
Your human world. The world of the five senses, the world of
But
being
now,
here in the body.
seeing that we know that religion also empowers us to do good, could it be that some religion empowers us to do evil as well?
Yeah,
Because it's spiritual.
sure. That happens.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
therefore,
Yeah.
we can conclude.
I haven't experienced it myself, but I've read about it. But this is interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's good to surface for us to examine that.
Yes. So the difference, we talked about this a while before, the difference between someone actually sitting down, planning, carry out a horrific crime, or the urge or the passion to do that, the difference between that person, which is controlled spiritually, because remember, those are floods of thoughts as well.
Yeah.
So that person is flooded with all these horrific thoughts that they're urged to do. There's a passion, there's a driving force, there's venom that fills the heart, like my anger,
Yeah.
or the anger I had.
Yeah.
So I'm being pushed in that realm.
Yeah.
And so because it comes from the thought world, which is spiritual, we know it comes from the spirit world. Now, the difference between you and I and perhaps that person is that we enter into meditation, we enter into prayer. Some people call it meditation, some people call it prayer. And Penelope, if there's something that happens that I can't control, instead of going after revenge or going after, unforgiveness, I can simply sit with tears before the God or the religion that I've chosen, and I says, help, Lord.
I surrender.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's the difference between good and evil, which comes from the spirit world.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, since we know the spirit world is made of good and evil, light and darkness, then we can call the spirit world religion for the purpose of this conversation.
All right. Go, girl.
Okay. And now, religion, what I want to say, religion now empowers us to be what we want to be. Because if I'm meditating and I'm thinking of good thoughts and I'm invoking my God, and he's a good God, or he's a precious God, or he does the good things, then I'm in the spirit world communicating with this God, and good comes from me. If I'm in the spirit world and I'm deciding to be ruthless and doing criminal things, or then I'm in the spirit world based on what is being generated through my mind, through my heart. I'm in the spirit world and I'm focusing on a God that's not a good God.
Yeah.
Now, in my world, in my Christian world, we call that God or Satan.
That's right.
Okay, so therefore we
I heard that rumor.
Now, if man is controlled spiritually, it means then we can't roll the dice in choosing religion. Okay, let's see who's going to choose today. We can't afford to roll the dice in our choices, because if religion controls death, then there's going to be the ultimate where when I die, the name that will be on my tongue for eternity will be the God I have chosen to serve. Let me ask you this question. What if I just roll the dice and this God did not exist? What if I just rolled the dice and it was just a figment of my imagination? What if I roll the dice and my God was dead? Can I truly afford that?
Would you find out from doing that, rolling the dice and finding out what would come back? What would come back to you?
What would come back? Well, man has made choices based on just a notion.
Hearsay.
Yeah, based on hearsay.
Yeah.
Based on somebody else's
Rules.
experience. Based on rules. Based on the country I was born in. Based on my mother's interpretation of who God is.
Yeah.
That's called the rolling of the dice.
Yeah.
Can I afford that?
5 minutes to go.
5 minutes
Yes,
to go.
we're doing great.
That which empowers me cannot be somebody else's opinion.
Ah, I like that.
That which I choose to serve cannot come from the role of a Russian roulette, they say, playing the game.
Yeah, that's true.
It must not be as simple as following my parents' legacy, because it controls the hereafter.
Yeah.
And I would understand if death wasn't such a mournful place, but we know, Penelope, that when we die, you and I that are left here behind, we cry in our souls for those that have passed on. And sometimes we know truly that they have not entered the place that they should be. So it can't be just a figment of my imagination. What will happen in the end? What will happen at the time of death? Can I gamble with that?
Well, we're coming up on Easter. Isn't it time for a drum roll here?
Okay, if I am not in control, how can I be sure that the God I serve will honor me in death? How can I be sure?
How can you be sure? Tell us.
Well, what is the ultimate end of the religion I have chosen?
Which one have you chosen?
I like your question.
Any religion then.
Any religion.
Okay.
But what is the ultimate end of that? Am I sure?
Wouldn't your experience?
But this is just the hypothetical question we need to all ask. What is the truth? Does anyone really know the truth, or have we held on to the comfort of a lie?
I see where you're going. Okay. Yep.
Am I just comforted based on what I've chosen to believe?
Because I love my family, I love my heritage, I love my country.
I love my meditation.
Yeah.
I love the God I serve. I love church on a Sunday morning. By the way, this is not on the script. We rock at church on a Sunday morning.
I bet you do.
And I love that.
I bet you do.
Is that the reason I have chose to serve the God I do? Because I like the church I go to? Okay, another question. Why are there so many conflicting stories about death, which is the most significant part of life?
It's a hot topic, and we have 2 minutes. Keep going.
If death does not matter, why do we do everything in our power to avoid it? If death does not matter, why do we mourn so unbearably in sorrow when our loved ones pass on? And why is death so morbid? And if religion is controlled by death, should I continue to gamble?
Very good question for our friends who are watching to think about.
Okay, then let's put religion to the test.
Okay.
Because we're navigating the spirit world, and religion is all about the spirit world. Does the God of my religion care enough about me to answer these questions? Did the God of my religion create me? Does the God of my religion communicate with me?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Does the God of my religion grant me healing? Does he grant divine protection? Do I have an opportunity to enter his presence? I'm almost done.
But you got a minute, kiddo.
I got a minute.
Yeah.
Does he grant me permission to enter his presence and truly know what's in the hereafter? Does he give assurance about life after death? Can I depend on the God of my religion for my daily life? Does he answer prayers? Is my God real, or he's a figment of my imagination? Is my God dead?
These are questions
If we answer these questions and we find the truth.
we need to ask these questions.
Yes.
We need to ask these questions.
Yes.
Thank you, Jackie Trought. And thank you, my friends, for joining us on Awake in the Dream. We will see you again soon.